As I've been studying this text and as I've been reading through it, I was reminded of a passage in Matthew 12:20, where we read of a prophecy that's spoken from Isaiah 42:3. And Matthew, in his gospel, takes this passage and demonstrates how this specifically points us to Jesus. So it's in Matthew 12:20, we read, "A bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering wick he will not quench until he brings justice to victory." And in this passage, Matthew is adding editorial comment. This isn't a passage that Jesus is read to speak from or anything of that sort. This is Matthew inserting this in the narrative to demonstrate something he's teaching us about who Jesus is. He's teaching us about the character of Jesus and how Jesus fulfills the prophecies of the Old Testament. And this verse has been on my mind a lot lately as I've been reading through the work, The Bruised Reed, by the Puritan writer Richard Sibbes. And in this, he expands upon the idea that Jesus will not break a bruised reed and he will not snuff out a smoldering wick, though he uses the word smoldering flax. The source of the reed's bruising and the wick's smoldering may come from various different sources. Might come from the pressures of the life, of the weight of sin, might come from stress or life, and in some various instances, the bruising of the reed or the smoldering of the wick might come from the Lord's discipline. But what Sibbes does, and is helpfully just to explain what Christ does in the midst of that Christ is not going to press the reed further so that it breaks, that Christ is not going to douse the wick so that it completely extinguishes. At times, Christ will discipline the believer so that he might make them stronger and make them more holy. But I want to bring that quite a bit into more common language, that the bruised reeds and the smoking flaxes are the broken, the crushed, the spiritually weak, the wounded, suffering, those humbled or those desperate, especially those who feel humbled and desperate by their own sin. The smoking flax is a picture of one who is barely burning, the candle that is on its way out, or this flax that's producing more smoke than it is flame. And Sibbes takes that to say that though they may feel worthless, that though they might seem worthless to themselves or to others, that Christ will not discard them. That Christ will not discard the disciple who feels or seems or thinks that they are weak.